Welcome back, everybody, to We Speak Cloud. It's your boy, Pat Hilton and Kevin McMillan. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, Pat, good to see you again.
You're looking pretty fancy today there with the virtual background. I like it. I like it.
Thanks. What's the power of Pat Hilton put me in this beautiful t-shirt, upgraded my audio, and put on a virtual background. So
it's a step in the excellence direction that we're going for. And we were talking a little bit about automation earlier and how it can make things easier with workflow solutions. You describe this stuff better than I do, but automation using cloud services, what can we talk about when it comes to this to present what this is to our audience and to our business owners out there?
For sure. Of course, it's easiest for me to give explanations or examples of things that we've done in this area. But to answer your question first, automation in the cloud is very simply using levers, little switches that will fire off based on given tasks, specific thresholds. An instance, for instance, would be like in Microsoft Azure. We have instances for many of our clients, but for one that I'm thinking of right now, where when the CPU hits 80% utilization, the memory gets high, and there's a ton of visitors on the site, the cloud will automatically recognize that and spin up a second instance and make it so that it can serve twice as much traffic, or X amount of traffic, probably 2.5 times more. The same is true on the second instance. If both of them have a high load on them, it'll generate a third, fourth, or fifth instance, and also reduce it back down to one, let's say in the middle of the night when perhaps the sites aren't being used. Just one example. I have many others if you wanted to hear others.
Yeah, let's go through as many as you possibly can think of, because I think that everyone has their own system. Everyone has their own way of doing business. And I think that understanding what the cloud provides rather than what the cloud really is, I think that we all use, drives and stuff like that for sharing files or contracts or agreements and stuff like that. But when you talk about like solutions inside the tech of your business, I think getting really specific allows people to kind of look at what they're using currently and say, oh, well, that fits right here and right here and right here. And I didn't even know it because no one's ever told me about it.
Oh, for sure. Very much so right into that, very much like what we did back in, believe it or not, 1998 and 1999, when we started up RyanTech. We automated the process of vehicle inventory at automobile dealerships being displayed on the internet and then shared with internet properties, all the .coms of the world, so that auto dealers did not have to, believe me, this actually happened, Pat. Auto dealers would fax us a printout from their DMS system of what vehicles they have in stock. It would arrive at our offices, and then we would have to manually type in what cars are available for sale. When we originally started a web property called vehix.com, that's now no longer there, but was bought by the AT&T media services way back in the day. So we took a fax and automated it so that we read the fax, we OCR'd it and put it in a database. Then eventually we created software that integrated with the manufacturer and the OEM dealership's DMS system, pulled the inventory out automatically on a schedule, sent it up to our servers, which then parsed through the information, in other words, took it apart, and then VIN decoded the VIN and created a normalized year, make, model, trim, mileage, color, transmission, and so forth, so that the information on the internet became cleaner. All of that became automated, so we didn't have to have, literally we started with 20 customer service agents grabbing faxes and hammering in information with their hands and turned it into an automated process. We've done it very many ways, but today, so fast forward 20 years later, believe that or not, 20 years later, it's 2020. And 20 years later, RyanTech is taking, for example, emails that go to our clients, many of them auto dealers, and looking at the content and deciding whether or not it's potentially malicious. We have ways of recognizing whether or not a person or a device that's connected to a user's email tenant or account is likely the person who's supposed to be logged in. Recently, we've seen accounts being logged into from the Netherlands and China and other countries, and we know for sure that the Honda dealership in Texas that we're talking about is not in the Netherlands at the time, but we'll go ahead and call them and ask. We did just that manually. And we verified that there is nobody in the Netherlands that works at the dealership today. We killed the login, reset the password, protected their tenant. So we have automation that tells us what's happening with our clients, and we fire off automated alerts. We follow it even up with a manual touch where some of our staff will reach out by telephone to our clients and say, hey, we found something we think is bad.
So when you talk about this, the solution that you guys provide is always included with the support from your headquarters, which I think is important to address, that there's always a support aspect of what you offer people, because that's so important, is to have that man-to-man coverage, if you will, in business, is that there's always somebody that they can talk to or address this issue to, or even, hey, we found an issue and now we're going to make sure we follow up with you to make sure this is an issue, because obviously that was a bad login.
You're so right. I mean, you can imagine this, Pat. You use our services. Imagine if we recognized, or our systems, our automation recognized, that somebody on an Android device in New York was logged into your account sending emails. We're going to notice that automatically and trigger off an email to you saying, we've noticed a high number of attempts or activity on your account from this device located in New York. Click this button to block it or allow it to continue to happen by just ignoring this email. Or we've blocked it, click to re-enable it. This is the big difference with RyanTech. Back in the day, 20 years ago, when we did this with vehicle inventory, to today, it's always been the professionals and the experts that are on staff that get it done. You can buy Microsoft Office 365 or Google's G Suite from either one of those two companies, but they don't come with us. They don't come with these services. They don't come with the package, that personal touch. None of these alerts or anything are available in either of the two platforms.
Right. And that was kind of what I wanted to address. That's so important is the touch. And that's I call it man-to-man coverage for business. The reason why I've been able to survive is because people can get a hold of me and I handle things, and people can trust that Pat's going to show up and deliver at a high level every time. And that's part of the reason why we've all gotten along so well, is because you guys run the same way. And I've learned that most of the businesses out there that are lasting 20 years, 25 years have this type of system in place where it's like, hey, listen, we're here for you. And at 3 a.m, when you need something done, we're going to find a way to get it solved. And so I think that's super important and affordable. You guys make these solutions extremely affordable. If you're going to have the software, you want to be covered on the other end. We talked about an insurance policy for your data that also is included with the software that you're potentially buying. If I can go buy software at whatever store or download software at whatever store, but now I'm on YouTube or I'm on some site trying to figure out how to use it, there's no customer support. How do I get this USB thing to work? If that comes with a service and a expert customer support system, then it sure as heck makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, no question. And you'd be surprised, Pat, how often we've built systems for billing, for support, for our internal logins, for everything that have all these automations and triggers. But you would be absolutely surprised at how many times a week we get an email, a ticket is created, or a phone call happens, and it's about that USB port or that printer, or nothing to do with what we provide services for. But our people go above and beyond, just like yourself, Pat. I mean, maybe the rock star in you rubbed off on our people a little bit.
I think it's a back and forth thing, but what I did want to make sure I expressed to everyone as quickly as possible was the concept of the workflow solutions that this automation can provide for you that is not necessarily included with software. And there is a free consultation available on that too. So not only can you get your security analyzed for free at WeSpeakCloud.com, but you can get your automation workflow, a free analysis on that as well, correct?
That's right. What we've instituted recently is the ability to, I gave you the example of Netherlands, New York, whatever. But the idea is that we've put in these systems to just implement into your tenant, that is on Office 365 for that matter. And if we see that there are unusual logins in this, what we implement, it'll trigger an IP trace and an alert and notify not only us, but also the tenant. So that's one of them that we can implement for anybody that's on Office 365. The other thing that we've also seen is dirty words that have been overused. They're more important than ever, and the automation to recognize what they are, or for example, social security numbers sitting in an email, a driver's license, any private information. We have the ability to automate the redaction of information within an email to be PCI or GLB compliant. So basically, when you buy the products from RyanTech and We Speak Cloud for that matter, all of these services come today, and there's more being born every day, every week, and every month based on what we're learning is happening with tenants and those crooked people called hackers.
That's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to remember free consultation on a workflow automation solution is available at WeSpeakCloud.com. Check it out, and we have more episodes coming at you soon. Kevin McMillan, as always, my friend, good talking to you.
You got it, Pat.